Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my weekly LinkedIn Live, where I share with you weekly installments of what you can do to elevate your career and leadership success. So today, I want to share with you one of the most common mistakes people make when they are progressing into a senior leadership position, or maybe they're already in a senior leadership role, but they're not really progressing as well as they'd like to. And they're not really making the impact and having the influence they would have thought they would have had at this point in their role. So wherever you are, if you're on your way to senior leadership or you're in senior leadership and you know you need to start doing something else to get where you want to be a little bit faster, then keep listening, because I want to share with you some of the common mistakes, and one in particular that people make, that if you can bypass this or you can move past it, then it is actually going to help you to really accelerate your career forward to where you want to be. So my name is Anne Caulfield. I'm an accredited executive coach and leadership consultant, emotional intelligence coach, and I work with individuals as well as working with organizations to help elevate individuals into senior leadership roles. So for individuals who are in a senior leadership position, we'll say senior manager, director, and they're probably looking to go up into a senior leadership role and they're probably not getting there as fast as they like to, I help those individuals to move in that direction. And move the obstacles out of their way that are preventing them from progressing, but also helping organizations with their teams and helping them to progress these individuals into more senior leadership positions. So, as I said today, I want to talk about one of the most common mistakes that people make when progressing into a senior leadership role, and that is failing to adapt their mindset and approach. And the thing is, many people underestimate this shift in mindset and approach when they're going from a technically competent individual to moving towards a strategic asset in the organization. And it is what stands in the way of making progress in their careers. And as I just want to repeat, many people underestimate this, and it's why they get stuck. So a lot of people think I need to do more of this other piece. I need to do more of the doing. I need to do more of lots of things that they're doing that honestly are not going to propel them forward to where they want to be. Okay. So if this sounds like where you're at right now, keep listening. I'm going to be sharing with you some of the mistakes that are happening for you and how you can move past those. Or maybe you have a team and you're looking to help them to progress to the next level. You want them to step up to the next level of leadership, then yeah, absolutely, it's going to be helpful for you too. Okay. So when I talk about making a shift in their mindset and approach, what's really important here is to understand that, you know, as the saying goes, what got you here won't get you there. And that's very, very true from the space of moving from an operational role into a more senior leadership role. And it is a step up, right? There is a bit of a shift, right? And I do call it a step change because, you know, it requires a different set of skills from you when you want to move up into a senior leadership role. But unfortunately, people make the mistake that they believe, well, if I just work harder, if I get onto more projects, I'll be more visible. People will be able to see me demonstrating my value more than ever before. But the thing is, that's probably you just doing your job and maybe going over and above a little bit. But if you want to progress into senior leadership position, you need to start demonstrating different skills. You need to start demonstrating skills that are actually valued at the next level. Okay. And there's a bunch of those that I'll definitely love to share with you at another session. But for now, what I want to talk about today is what are the mistakes, right? So when I see people holding themselves back and not progressing where they want to be, there are typically 5 things I see them doing. And these are happening because they haven't made that shift in their mindset or their approach to stepping up to a senior leadership role. So the first one of those is holding on to an individual contributor mindset. So what's happening here is as we move up the ranks to senior leadership positions, our responsibilities will shift, right? So we're moving away from focusing on tasks that we're overseeing, tasks that we're doing. So we need to move away from those to leading our team. So we need to focus from doing to leading, right? So from always doing the work, getting your sleeves rolled up and actually doing the work to actually know I want to lead or help to influence the direction of the team and where it's going. A lot of people really struggle with this, and there's a few different things that I've spoken about in maybe other masterclasses you might have attended of mine. But there's a few different reasons this happens. And once as you understand those reasons and you think, hang on, that is where I'm getting stuck, then that's going to help you to move out of that space and help you to move forward. So that's the first one, right? So holding on to an individual contributor mindset. So are you doing that, right? Because now if you want to be seen to have the capability and the skills to be a more senior leader, you need to move away from, that primary focus on your own tasks to overseeing and leading the team, okay? And while that might sound, yeah, that makes sense, why are you getting stuck in the doing? That's the question you need to answer. And only by understanding that will you actually truly be able to allow yourself to shift into that leading. And as I said, there's a few reasons why people get stuck there. And if you want to find out about more what they are, I'd be very happy to share those with you. But once you find out what is getting you stuck there, then that's going to open the door to help you to move forward. And typically when I share this with individuals, it is a light bulb moment. They're like, oh my God, I absolutely do that all the time. I didn't realize I was doing that. So, if you want to know any more about that, please get in touch with me and I'd be very happy to share that with you. So that's the first one. The second mistake people are making is they're neglecting their own self-development. Okay. So I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people. Again, you're getting stuck in the doing, right? You're not looking forward. You're not casting your vision forward towards where you actually want to be and what actually will that take, right? So the problem a lot of people have is that if they do self-development as well, which is good in any regard, but sometimes what people are doing as well, the other mistake they're making is they're focusing that self-development on their technical skills and expertise. When actual fact, if you're moving up to more senior leadership role in your organization, what you need to be focusing on building your skills on is in relation to strategic thinking, influencing, communication, change management. These are the things that you now need to start demonstrating that you may not have done so much before, right? So yes, of course, you were demonstrating all those in some form or another, but you need to raise it up the level now. You need to do it at a different level than you're doing it before. So when you're thinking that you want to, work on your self-development a lot more, that's the space you really need to be focusing on. And again, companies and individuals do spend a lot of time in this space, which helps them progress people within the organizations. But again, going back to what I said at the very beginning, a lot of people underestimate the value of these skills. And way back years ago, that the term is probably not used anymore, but it would be called soft skills, and the name itself even said it's easy. Those skills are not easy, right? By calling them soft skills probably does it a huge injustice, because they're the hardest skills you learn, and especially if you're trying to figure it out on your own. So going and working and putting yourself out there to get the training that you need to develop those skills to step into more leadership position is going to be hugely beneficial for you in progressing in a senior leadership role, right? And again, it's about adapting and shifting your mindset and approach to how you're now approaching as you move into a senior leadership role. It needs to be different from where you're now. And I see that all the time when I'm working with individuals to help them to make that progression. Their mindset is not in the right place. It's in the right place for them to continue doing very successfully what they're doing today, but not to make that shift towards where they need to or where they want to get to. And that's the shift in mindset that needs to happen. And that will allow them then to embrace this training a lot better. So if we haven't shifted our mindset and our approach, and we go off and we do communication and influencing training and all this, it's actually not going to have as much of an impact on you than it would having shifted your mindset and approach. Now, I hope you know what I mean by that, but that is absolutely so true. Otherwise, it's literally going in, learning, taking knowledge into our conscious mind, our educated mind, and that's it. And we're not going to apply anything because we haven't adapted our mindset and our approach. And how do I actually make this meaningful for me? It's absolutely huge, this particular one, okay? The third one is lack of collaborating and networking. So moving into senior leadership position involves, working more so across functional teams and peers and stakeholders within different departments. And if you have already been doing that, it's much more so than before, right? So working across those departments and a more senior leadership role, building strong relationships, building collaboration, building mutual value sharing, All of this is hugely important. And again, you know, this is underestimated, and what's involved is underestimated. And a lot of people shy away from it because they just see, oh, that's just, you know, that's not really valuable. It's doing the work is going to get me where I need to go. You need to be able to collaborate. You need to be able to network so people can share their knowledge, so people can share their value. People can start like working on strategy, ideas together. You know, it's so, so powerful. And the other problem, the reason people don't move in this direction and set up that place where they are networking and collaborating more effectively is because they just think, well, okay, I'm not good at it. And it's not something where I'm, you know, that's not something I do. But the thing is, there's a way to figure out, and there's a way that I share with people of how to do that more effectively, because we're all constrained with time, but to do it more effectively in a way that's meaningful for both you and that other person or that other group, right? So to make it really meaningful and not just something fluffy that you think you have to do. This has to be meaningful, or else you are actually wasting your time, okay? The fourth one is believing your work will speak for itself. Big mistake. Lots of people make it. And mostly people know they're making this mistake, because what they see is they say, well, you know, I do the work, I get it done. I see somebody else who's doing work, not doing as much as me, but they're the one who's progressing, right? So just even think about that at the moment. And I know that you're going to have people around you, people you've experienced who are really good at, you know, advocating for their own selves and, you know, showing their work, demonstrating their work. And it doesn't have to be cringe, right? You can do it in a way that's going to allow you to make your work more visible, so that more people can see it and more people can understand your value and what you have to offer. Not necessarily in a cringe way, right? You can do it in a way that's much more meaningful for the people. So, and what I call that is like invisible PR, right? So we're going to start advocating for ourselves, but also we're going to create some advocates around us that are going to help us to demonstrate our work. Because at the end of the day, if people don't know how you're doing what you're doing and why you're successful in what you're doing, then it's just going to be like a secret formula, and you're going to be the biggest kept secret in your organization or in your industry. Like, nobody really wants to be that. And if they are that, then they are going to get frustrated when they have a lack of progression, because nobody knows either what they're doing, or if they know what they're doing, they really don't appreciate what's involved in what's making that happen. As in the skills that you're using, where you're really strong at, what makes you stand out from somebody else in achieving what you've achieved. So these are just 4 mistakes that people make all of the time, preventing them to progress to senior leadership. So think about which one is most, I suppose, resonating most with you right now. And maybe it's all of them. It's really important, as I said, going back to what I shared at the start, is to make a shift in your mindset and approach when you're moving into senior leadership. It is the most valuable thing you can do. And it pretty much literally takes the brakes off. It lets you to really roll forward, take upon and embrace stepping up into that position where you can bring the most value. Now, if you have any questions on anything I've shared today, you know, I shared with you a very high level. If you want to get into more detail on any of these, or if there's any of these that you want to talk to me about, or that maybe some resonates with you for your team, get in touch, drop me an email, or send me a message here on LinkedIn. I'd be very happy to share with you some more detail on how you can move past these obstacles and help you to progress to senior leadership, or help your team to progress to senior leadership. And with the formula that I have developed and I use with people all the time, it so quickly adapts and moves people into a position where they're moving into that position, or maybe they're already in a position of senior leadership, but things are changing for them quite quickly because they're adapting a different mindset and approach. Therefore, they're taking on different behaviors, different actions that they may have not have done before, therefore getting different results. And the good thing is that it doesn't require more work, actually. It requires less work, right? Because you're not now, you know, trying to do everything and be everywhere to think that's going to give you the visibility you need. You actually need to really just refocus on where you're shifting your mindset and approach. So I hope you found this valuable. If you did, please share it with your network if you found it valuable. Send me a message if you'd like more details. And I look forward to chatting to you again next week for another installment of my weekly LinkedIn Live. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.